Georgia, what is good? It is a delight to be back in your lovely city, in your lovely state, not having to deal with traffic because I've only taken planes and public transit today. I took the regular plane. I didn't even have to take the plane train. Did make me sad. I love the plane train. It's the best name. But whatever terminal I was in, I was heard by baggage claim. I took the MARTA, which is fun as a public transit name because it just sounds like a lady. Oh yeah, hop on MARTA. She'll get you where you need to go. And then I took a bus. I've collected them all, so it's been really good. But my bus on the way back to the venue did run into some traffic, so I did get to be a little bit like Atlanta. So I've experienced it all. I'm very excited for this show. Now, off the jump, at the top, we're doing stuff a little differently tonight. We're doing it a little differently because just a one act all the way through show. There is a late show here tonight, so rather than us do the thing where you do an hour, take a break, then do another hour or so, nah, we're just going 90 minutes high octane Percy Jackson. So we're gonna get right to it. If you were oh no, I was gonna buy merch during intermission, you should get merch after the show. I'll probably be at the merch table. Come say hi, it'll be great. But we also have a fun thing going on because this show is being streamed. There was a little mix-up where I originally sent the wrong time to the folks doing it. I think way back when I was yeah, the show's at 8. You might know it's 7:06. So we're trying to get the stream set up. So because of that, in order to try and give the stream folks time to set up the stream, we're going to do things a little reverse. We're going to begin the show with a little bit of Q&A and then get into doing the actual content that we're here to cover.
Hey, it's Mike from the future here. I know that not everybody listens to the Q&A sections in these episodes. It's not everybody's favorite, and you're entitled to your opinion, even if it is wrong. So I'm going to be nice here. If you do want to skip ahead just to the chapter discussion portion, just go 26 minutes ahead from now, and you should be right at the tail end of the Q&A, but the Q&A is very good and you'll lose out on some context. If you skip ahead right now, you'll also miss me introducing the guests, so you're going to miss out, but if you really want to, you can skip ahead 26 minutes. Anyway, back to the podcast.
So in order to do that, we need to get our very special guest on stage, someone who you've heard on the podcast a couple of times and you probably know in the Percy Jackson sphere. Make some noise for Ashlee Latimer! Hello, hello. How's it going?
Bearing all the gifts.
Yes, all the gifts, the water, the laptop, all the goodies and such.
Is this real? No, it's not.
No,
real
it's
money.
not, but isn't it? It's very convincing, isn't it? It's prop money. Ooh, very
He was
fun.
I'm going to bring a money gun out. And I was yeah, a money gun. And then as he was coming up, I was oh, a money gun. But then I was these are $100 bills.
Yes. They don't ignore the part that says copy, prop money, et cetera, et cetera. So, how are you doing? How's been your Atlanta experience?
I had the exact inverse Atlanta experience that you did. I left from Knoxville, Tennessee at 10 a.m. this morning and got here at 3:45. But I made it. And my hotel is within walking distance, so...
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I need to let the stream
and I'm gonna,
people...
leave when it's dark out tomorrow morning, I guess.
Just letting the stream people know there's a slight delay. Cool, people are arguing in the chat. When is this supposed to go? What's happening? Wah! Fun. There's always stress when I stream a show. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the Tino Gmail because some folks have sent in some questions, and we'll do some fun Q&A stuff. And then we'll hopefully get things going streaming-wise, and then we'll get the show going. I've just recently read the chapters. I understand why everybody hyped these up. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be super duper fun. Okay, we're going to start off. This one's from Christy. Subject line is Q&A. I also brought you a gift. Is that why I opened this one first? Yes. Hi, and welcome to Atlanta. My question is, which Taylor Swift era do you think best fits each of the 7 based on vibes alone? Album covers included for vibes. I know Kelly is the real Swiftie. Also, I brought a gift for you that I hope to give you after the show. Yeah, go to the merch table. How Swiftie familiar are you?
I'm dyed in the MySpace.
All right, then let's go. The
Okay.
7. Here are the eras of photo reference for us.
Okay.
Namely me.
Okay. Are we going to go in a specific order or?
Sure. Should we go album by album?
Okay. I think Hazel is debut
Ooh.
era.
Okay.
And then I would say it's tricky because there are more than 7 albums. So
Right. Yeah. I think we can get
skip
loose with
around.
it. We can bring in
Okay.
people who aren't in the 7. We can do repeats. I think it's okay. We can get loose.
I'm going to say Nobody's Life of a Showgirl.
Whoa! Did you not like it? Ooh. But is Jason at least Travis Kelce? Our all-American boy.
This feels a little cliche, but I would say Nico is Torture Poets Department.
Okay. I think it's valid. I think it's incredibly valid.
And then I feel like Frank, I'm going to say Evermore. Because I feel like he has like ups and downs and like sometimes he can be a little down on himself. But I'm also kind of leaning towards Red Taylor's version. Like, I could go either way on that one. I think Annabeth is Speak Now.
They're a very loud yeah from the crowd. The people like it.
I think Leo is Midnight's, specifically the Till Dawn edition.
Is that the like extra more songs one? Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, I'm going to say that Percy is 1989 because I feel like that is the most quintessential Taylor album. So I feel like he's got to be the quintessential. I wouldn't necessarily say that they are like exactly the vibes. Also, that's the New York album. So,
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That feels like we've
Yeah.
had quite enough.
Yeah.
So that's great. Christy, thank you so much. Okay. This one is from Margaret. Hi, Mike. Huge fan of the podcast. I always enjoy your humor and commentary, especially when you make comments about your daughter that I can relate to, since I had my daughter back in October. Congrats. If each of the 7 could design a ride at a theme park, what kind of ride would it be? Thanks, Margaret. Ooh. Grover's going to design the food court. And Percy feels obvious for like a log flume or some sort of like water type ride of sorts.
What's the like something tycoon freeze thing at Disney?
The tycoon.
Like Blizzard.
Blizzard Beach.
Yeah.
Love Blizzard Beach. That's a fun. Yeah, that's very fun. I think I've said on the pod that they should just like embrace and rebrand it as a Percy Jackson water park. I think that'd be really, really fun. Just like lean in. Why not?
Right.
And then other ride stuff. I could see Leo doing one of those things where it's more of like, maybe I'm just biased because there is a Fast and Furious ride that's like this, but one of those like you're in a car and it like drives you around to like different screens and stuff rides, like and 3D effects and stuff as well, and fire and explosions, blah blah blah.
I would like to see Leo revamp the Hall of Presidents to use all of the animatronics, but make it something better.
Ooh, or like juice up the Carousel of Progress, even though the Carousel of Progress is perfect. No notes about the Carousel of Progress. There is a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day.
I'm going to Disney for the first time since I was 3 days old.
Whoa.
Later this year, so...
Wait, hold on. Your parents brought you when you were 3 days old? That's not enough days.
My mom, when I was old enough to like question her about that, she was like, well, you were 2 weeks late. And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, that's better.
Old at Disney is different.
That's different.
So
That, when our baby was 3 days old and they kicked us out of the hospital, we were like, "Are you sure?
do you really want us to go on the subway?"
We want to. Are you positive?
But I think that's why I love Disney so much, because I thought it was still part of the womb.
Okay, let's get another question going, but that's fun. Lots of theme park opportunities. Okay, let's see. Oh, great. This is from Jack and Elpida, who say, blame Trae Young for live stream issues. At least we can all agree on that now, right? Because you guys traded him away. He's not on the team anymore. As you can see by my outfit choices, the Knicks are currently playing your hometown basketball team in the playoffs, so I had to represent. I packed as much Knicks clothes as possible. My plan was just to wear it, Jack and I, to be like subtly wearing a Knicks shirt. Now I'm very blaringly wearing a Knicks shirt because I got hot running around and stressing. But I will blame Trae Young. No, it was just a miscommunication, but it's Trey's fault. Hi, Mike. Glad to hear you're loving my favorite childhood book, The House of Hades. Question 1. One of my favorite parts of these Camp Half-Blood books is how grounded the characters are, like Gia. Grounded. Nice. They always feel more human than God. Despite this, what do you think is the most fantastical superhero nonsense moment from this series and the original series? This series, I've definitely poked fun at this in the pod, but like the stuff Leo has done in the Argo 2 is out of this world. It is ridiculous how much tech there is, and yet there are things where it's like, oh, the sonar doesn't work all the time, but good thing we have magic windows that let us know what's happening at Camp Half-Blood. Like, I don't know how you prioritize these sorts of like unnecessary things and not like the essentials. I don't know. So that to me has felt like the most kind of nonsense thing. I feel like a lot of things are very plot heavy, and that feels like a plot heavy type of thing. Do you have something either from the first or second series that's very like
magical and whimsical.
Well, I agree with you on this. I feel like I still don't have a good grasp on like how big the Argo 2 is.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, oh yes, we're just over here, a normal sized ship. And other times I'm like, this has got to be like a Mary Poppins situation. Like,
I imagine it to be huge. But that's just me. But yeah, I would love... It's funny because I feel like in a lot of the Rick Riordan books, you get like a map in the beginning that tells you stuff. And I feel like every book where we got a map, I did not need a map. And every book where I need a map, there is not a map.
Yes.
And I would love like a blueprint breakdown of the ship, and I feel like it would be helpful. There was another time where I was like hoping for a map. Oh, Tartarus. If Tartarus had some sort of map. Now maybe it's impossible because it's Tartarus, but I feel like I was talking to someone recently and they were just like, I'm confused of like where they're going and the scale and the Ri are here and there's a ledge and there's the trees and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, a map would help. And then someone was like, Rick never does maps. And I was like, he does do maps, but it's never when you need them. Never when you need them.
I feel like Tartarus is kind of like Neverland, because every child's Neverland is slightly different based on like, so there are like some key components that will always be there.
Okay.
But then everyone, like based on that child's interests and dreams, they shift.
Okay.
Canonically, like this is just true. But that's how I think of Tartarus. That's the only way I can make sense of it.
I love it. Everyone in the chat is talking about what snacks they're eating. They're fine. They're having a good time. Community. Question 2. What would the comic book superhero names for our 8 heroes be? The 7 plus Nico. That's superhero names. Oh, okay. So I don't know individually, but the combo of Percy and Jason, if they were like a dynamic duo, makes me think of the Sega Dreamcast. They could be Hydro Thunder. What a game. What a game. I like whoever's making the Dreamcast, they're like, what should be the game that everybody has? And it's like powerboat racing, obviously. So the Sega Dreamcast, man, other superhero names. I feel like Piper needs something about like charm speak, like the silver tongue or something like that with like something about, the wordsmith, some sort of like.
I like silver tongue.
Silver tongue thing feels fun to me.
I'm really bad at names, like remembering them in real life and then just in general, like when I'm writing my books, my characters are always like TK, main character. TK, like, and then at the last minute. TK is like to come. Oh. There's no word in the English language that has a T and a K next to it.
Okay.
So it's like a published. I feel like I teach you a new little like grammar thing every time I'm on.
I have been dedicated since your episode. I've never in my life used the wrong M or N dash. And I'm like angry about it. It's like seeing The Matrix now. When people do like, oh, it's from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock and there's a hyphen. I'm like, that's a hyphen? That's wrong. Yeah. It's not long enough.
So in publishing, like you put TK when you don't have something yet, and that makes it easy to just go through, like you do a control find TK and then you just like go through all of them. Or like if you haven't written your acknowledgements yet, when you're doing proof pages, like it'll just say TK acknowledgements.
Interesting.
It's like
I learned a fun thing from either dictionary.com or Merriam-Webster, one of their Blue Sky accounts. The only word in the English language with a silent H is marijuana. Happy 420, everybody. Right? So the reason is it comes from like a Mexican Spanish word, marijuana, that can either be spelled like that with an H or like marijuana, I guess, with a G. And basically Merriam-Webster was like, we don't know when this happened, but all we know is that English did it first with the J, and there's no like reason why they did it with the J, but they did it before Spanish.
Wow.
And it's the only silent J word in English. And I, of course, immediately was like, nuh-uh, and tried to think for like 10 minutes, and I didn't think of any.
Silent J. At first you said silent H.
Oh, that's
like
wrong.
Trying to spell it.
No, there's a lot of those.
It's also an invisible H.
Yeah. No, my bad. Silent J, not silent H. That's funny. No. My bad. I'm glad you picked it up because these are the kind of things sometimes at live shows where I will like say something and like completely mess up, like say the opposite character or something. When I did Potterless, the number of times I flipped Dumbledore and Voldemort was like off the charts. At least like the syllables lined up, but still, like I would listen to the edit after the fact and be like, how did I?
I was like drilling myself on the names in these 2 chapters, like as though I was taking the Percy Jackson MCAT.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about how like you were worried about the Q&A being like really intense? So you listened to a bunch of audiobook stuff?
Yeah, I've like reread the chapters like 4 times and listened to like the audiobook all the way up to these chapters on the way down here, I was like, what if they ask me like the name of the wind god and I say the wrong one? They'd be like, she's a fraud. And Mike was like, I promise you the questions are going to be like, if the 7 were at a theme park.
Yeah, It's a lot of if each of the 7 were, what kind of goofy thing would they be? It's all low stakes. It's all low stakes. We'll try to do like 1 or 2 more, and then we are going to have to just like get into it. Ooh, okay. This is from Hazel. My name is Hazel, and I almost saw you in Christchurch. Hi, Mike. Thanks for coming back to Atlanta. My name is Hazel. I know. I was so excited when I read Son of Neptune, and I'm a daughter of Aphrodite. I caught your last show here, but I bought the tickets super early, and then later booked a flight back from California for the same day. Luckily, I got in an hour before the show started, so I caught a lift directly from the airport to Eddie's. I ordered a veggie burger, but I had to leave before the Q&A because I literally fell asleep at the bar. This is great. Anyway, Percy Jackson, here are the 2 questions I would like to ask. 1, if your parents, Barb and Joel, in case I forgot, were one of the Greek gods we're already familiar with, which would they be? I'm going to give Joel Poseidon because he taught me everything about the beach that I know, swimming, skimboarding, body surfing, all that kind of stuff. And like when he body surfs, he is next level with it. So where you just kind of like swim, catch a wave, and just like ride it. Like boogie boarding without a board, basically. My dad is just like, he looks so funny with it because he'll just like, it looks fake because he's just so protruded from the water with like his chest out like he's on the mast of a ship. Like just like going out, like catching. He looks so, it's very impressive, but it's also very funny because it just, you see it and it looks so unnatural. So he's Poseidon for sure. Barb? Oh, Barb's a tricky one. I want to say Hestia because like loving home and everything. And yeah, like Aphrodite doesn't feel right because it's not like she was like meddling in my like love relationships and stuff. So Hestia does feel more apt. Just like always like solid rock at home, kept everything together, loves like a clean home. Doing dinners, all that kind of stuff. Good hearth, yeah. 2, and if Barb and Joel were gods based on their real selves, what would they be the gods of? So now we're making new gods. For example, my dad would be the god of not swearing, as he often says things like crapola Coca Cola and fudge ripple. Very relevant for World of Coke being in here. So Barb would be the god of laughing at herself. I think it's something that I really try to emulate. She does a very good job of like recognizing when she is being ridiculous or did something silly or whatever and is like fully down to laugh at herself. And it's something that I strive to be as good as she is because I think she doesn't take herself too seriously and that really goes a long way. Joel? It's funny. So I'm gonna give him God of Sports, but God of Weird Sports. My dad is like very athletic, and I think that's kind of shaped a lot of my like I'm this weird like half nerd, half jock hybrid combo person. And it was funny because when we were doing the sound check, like Ash and I were talking like Percy Jackson, and then Mike the sound guy was like, I hope the Hawks win today. And then I was like getting real deep into how well Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been doing this year, and it was just a very fun flip of like nerd to balls.
I was like, go Birds. Wrong Birds.
Yeah, it's the Birds versus the Pants today. It's the Hawks versus the Knickerbockers. But it's like the pants are like the New Yorkers wear the pants, but it is the Birds versus the Pants today. So Joel with sports and stuff, he was very good at soccer, but his like best sports were, he was really good at pole vaulting in high school. He has a record that will never be broken because they stopped doing the event that he set the record in. It was like a 2-man relay pole vault where you just like 2 guys did pole vault and you added their scores together, and they don't do that anymore. So his record will never be broken. And then he's
That's
also
so sweet.
Yeah, just forever immortalized at St. Joe's Metuchen High School in Central Jersey. If anyone's an alum, go Lions. And then I have no idea what the animal is. And then he's also good at like slalom water skiing. So like when you water ski with just one ski, he's really good at that too. So yeah, my dad's good at some obscure sports. Okay. So yeah. That's what I'd give that to Joel. Thanks for being your funny, introspective, basketball-loving self. And then there's a please read after the show PPS. So I will mark this as unread, and hopefully I will go back to it. So let's see. Micah, how are we doing stream-wise?
We're set with camera. We're going to be streaming in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Sweet, good, because then in 3 or 4 minutes it'll be 7:30, and then we'll have an hour, and we're just going to like blitz through these chapters, baby. Cool. Let me tell the people in the chat. Okay, they're still talking about snacks. Yay! Okay. Do you know what you would give your parents if they were gods?
I'm no contact with both my parents.
Oh, no. I'm sorry for asking this question.
So they would be the gods of bad things.
Okay. They can be the bad guys in this story. Yay. I'm so sorry. Anyway, we're going to move it on.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. This is from Kat. Welcome to Atlanta. Don't drive. I didn't. And I'm taking the Amtrak tonight, so I will be 0 for no driving here. All the driving was done by the bus drivers, and they did wonderfully. Hey, Mike, good thing you haven't tried to drive around here. Traffic is exceptionally bad right now as you prepare for the World Cup. Ah, there it is. Since you're in ATL, if you featured the 7 were Coca Cola flavors, what would they be? And who in the full canon is Beverly? What is? It's the worst one. What is it? Oh, sorry, right here. You did this, so you feel locked in. It's an Italian really bitter drink, and it sucks. Is there anyone by show of hands who likes it? It's called Beverly.
Okay.
No, you were raising your hand though. What's up?
I did the said thing, and they described Beverly as smelling as like barbecue sauce.
Smelling like barbecue sauce, but it's a soda.
And you drink it.
And you do drink it with your body. Okay. Wow. It's okay.
I think Tartarus is Beverly.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's good. Yeah. That's, wow. I mean, but now I really want to try it. Okay, but if we're going to give Coca-Cola flavors to other people. Okay, so Percy's Coca-Cola classic. Or Cherry Coke. He feels like, I'm classic, but I'm a little fun. Jason can just be like Coca-Cola. Yeah. Or, if we're being honest, Jason's Pepsi. He's still good. We still like him. He's not as good.
I'm just fighting words around here.
I like Jason a lot. I feel like I'm usually the one defending him. People are like, I don't like Jason. Let's see. Annabeth? Which is the Coke ginger ale brand? Is that Canada Dry? Or Schweppes or Seagram's, whatever the Coca-Cola ginger ale brand is. I'm going to give that to Annabeth because I feel like ginger ale is very versatile, can fit in a lot of different situations. And the fact that Annabeth is like very nerdy and bookish, but then also like very plugged in to battle strategy and also soothing. Fighting. Yes. Yeah. Like can settle you when things are not going well. So I feel like that works for her. And then...
I didn't realize that we could like do Coke, the franchise.
Oh,
like,
that's
the
what I was...
I was like strictly Coke slave.
What is
but
it?
I like this direction.
Vanilla? Yeah. I think we got. Who's Mr. Pibb? Grover?
I think Piper's Coke Zero.
Ooh, okay.
And I want to say I love Coke Zero.
Okay.
So that's the highest praise. For
okay.
her.
Good. What is the reasoning for Piper being Coke Zero? Because she's a vegetarian and it kind of feels like vegetarian Coke.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't have. I feel like it blends with traditional Coke flavor more.
Okay.
And I feel like she is just good at getting into any situation and like being the right thing for the moment.
Okay, cool. No, okay, I have a better answer for Jason. Jason is Sprite because every now and then Jason makes lightning summon from the sky, and that's when you get a McDonald's Sprite that like, or the...
Imagine if you said Jason is Starry.
Oh, no, wait, that's the Pepsi one, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's like
yeah.
the
the artist
Sierra
formerly
Mist.
known as Sierra Mist, yeah. Starry is annoying to me because they went like really hard into sponsoring the NBA All-Star Weekend. So Starry's just like all in my face 2 nights a year. And it's just like, get out of here. I don't need this.
I'm a Regal Unlimited member. And when Starry first launched, like they would come up, they'd be like, would you like to try Starry? Like all the time. And
they like came up to you like when you're buying snacks, or did they like come in the theater and they're like, I'm so sorry?
At like the theaters where they come up to take your order. So like
like Alamo Drafthouse kind of stuff?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay, cool.
So like that part was normal.
Sure.
But then like
but
every
they had
order
to
they would be like, would you
ask,
like to try a Starry today? And I was like, I just ordered a Pepsi Zero.
I'll try a Starry if it's free. Okay. Any other people? We can make Octavian that really bad, Beverly, since we universally hate him.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's Roman, so that's close enough to being Italian.
I think that Leo is the orange cream Coke.
Fanta, or there is a Coke
No.
orange.
There's Well, I mean,
Could be
sorry,
Fanta.
I'm still stuck on real Coke flavors, y'all. I can't. My brain hasn't.
She's
made the
playing
leap
on
yet.
expert mode. I'm playing on novice.
Yeah, so there's like an oranges and cream Coke.
Oh.
It's kind of hard to find.
Okay.
But it's out there.
Uh-huh. And then Mountain Dew is under the Coke umbrella, right? No, that's under the Pepsi umbrella. Oh, man, I was going to give Leo Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Or Mountain Dew Code Red.
I mean, that is, yeah.
Oh, Surge, yeah. And then, another like fun one, Grover could be... Did Coca Cola do one like Pepsi Max where there's like extra caffeine?
Yeah.
They did a coffee Coke. Okay,
yeah.
that could be.
Yeah.
I need to go to the World of Coke. I keep doing this thing where when I come to do live shows here, I'm never like here and with enough time to explore Atlanta. But World of Coke seems fun because I always enjoyed, one of my favorite parts of Disney World was when they had the Cool Zone. I think they might still have it in Epcot. Anyone go to Cool Zone in Disney? It's like this igloo, which is sponsored by Coke. And they
hope it's still there.
They have like a soda machine, like a fountain thing with all these different sodas you can drink. And they're like from all over the world. Maybe they have Beverly. They do. So I've probably had it, and I was probably like, ugh, but I still had it because I had to have every single one. But they have some funky ones. Like I want to say they have somewhere in Asia. There's like a watermelon soda that's really good.
I want to try that.
I want to say maybe it's Malaysia. I don't know. There's some really fun international sodas. I don't know if World of Coke has like an international section. They do. Oh, so World of Coke sounds fun, and I've never been.
I've never been to World of Coke, but there's this little tiny town in Kentucky called Elizabethtown that has a Coke museum.
Ooh.
And it's very cute. Like you go through, and it's basically like if you went to like a grandma whose like hyperfixation was Coke.
Okay.
Like you just walk through and it's just got like every Coke knickknack that you could imagine.
Ooh.
And then at the end, they have like an old-fashioned soda shop.
Oh, like
that
an
you
old
could-
soda parlor?
Yeah, and like it's like a nickel for a drink. Like it's very
Still
cute.
in
Yeah.
this economy?
Well, I went there like pre-COVID, so maybe now it's like
A dime.
$5.
Yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
But once upon I hope they're still open.
Oh no! Did they
hope they made
survive?
it.
Did they survive? I hope they made it. I hope they made it
Yeah,
indeed.
so if you ever find yourself in Elizabethtown, Kentucky,
Take notes, everybody. Take notes. Okay. Kare says, we made it from Florida. Hey, Shubes, we haven't been to a live show since you were down in Florida a couple years ago. Shout out to my incredible fiance for driving us 8.5 hours so I could be here for my favorite podcast. Here's my question. If Tartarus had Yelp reviews from monsters, demigods, and titans, what do you think the average rating would be, and what would the top complaint be? Thank you for creating a space full of joy to escape to every week in such a chaotic world. Best regards, Kare. Ooh, Yelp reviews of
Okay.
Tartarus.
I feel like the Yelp reviews from American tourists to Tartarus would be, you can't find water anywhere.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of, I would give it 0 stars if I could, which is my favorite. I love seeing that in a review. It makes me so happy when someone says I would give 0 stars if I could. It just brings me so much joy that someone is so angry that they don't like the system. One isn't low enough. I feel like the Empusai would give it like a 3 out of 5 stars because they're like, sometimes I can get food and sometimes I get murdered by demigods. I feel like demigods would give it like a 2, where it's like it wants to kill me for the most part, but if I'm drinking fire, I am okay. So it's like it's not the worst. So I can't give it a 1 or a 0, but everything else is pretty bad. I feel like though it would probably get a good review from some of the Titans and the Giants and stuff, because especially in this Doors of Death open world, that's bringing them back to life. So
Yeah.
like, what do they have to complain about?
I guess like
We're good. Oh, we're live, like on the internet and stuff? Oh, I can see myself. Yay. Okay. Hello, the internet. How's it going? We had some interesting issues that were partially my fault, but now we're all good and the stream is good and I've cooled down from all the stress so I can put my cool jacket back on and we can get the stream going. So we were just doing Q&A, stream people, so you'll get to hear that when it comes to the podcast. But now, let's get into the show, everybody. Woo!
So here's the deal. We're covering chapters 35 and 36. You'll notice that this is similar to the situation that we did for the end of the Mark of Athena, where I was like told a lot that these are like really big, important chapters. So I wanted to live stream them. But you may have noticed that I didn't market this as like Mike reads the big moment live. I'm happy to say that I will be reading the big moment live, but I didn't want to market it as that because I didn't want people to get their hopes up too much, because I kind of saw this coming. Now, there's a couple of different factors here. The funniest of which is that people were like sending a lot of emails that were like, if you can get this one streamed or do a live reaction, you should do it. And then there were a couple emails where people were like, if you have a guest on, here's someone who I think would be a good guest. And people suggested lots of different guests, but all of these guests were gay or bisexual. So I felt like someone might be making an announcement.
I feel like you're having one of those, like, oh, honey, we knew.
So what's funny about this is like way early on, there was like, I feel like I was answering a Q&A question. It was about like, of the characters who aren't in relationships yet, like, who could you see? And I was like going through them with Nico, and I was like, oh, and Nico, and I was like, I don't know what Nico's preferences are, so like, I don't know, maybe Nico's gay or bi, I don't know. And I feel like there was a gasp, not like a loud one, but I was like, okay. But then also like, I am aware that there are the Nico books. I am aware that there are two boys on the cover of the book. I'm aware that Mark Oshiro is one of the two authors of the book. I've met Mark. Mark is lovely. Like, I understood. Like, so all of this going into it, I was not like super surprised. So I didn't want to market this as like, Mike gets surprised by some big plot twist, because I feel like I had a guess. But I was also very intentional with the guess because you are bisexual, yes?
I am.
Great. So, not two straighties up here talking about what's going on. But yeah, we're going to get into chapters 35 and 36, which are adjacent chapters, but we'll do the thing where I didn't tell you about this, I'm so sorry, so you have time to think about it. I retitled the chapters since they don't have quirky Percy Jackson titles. When we get to the end, we retitle it. So
Okay.
you can start, getting the gears
Praying
turning
about
on what it is. But we will begin with chapter 35, which is called Jason. And
Great chapter title.
great name. We might have some suggestions.
I'm just going to call it Jason 2.
Jason. to Asen. But where we last left our heroes, they are approaching going to Diocletian's palace in Croatia, in Split, Croatia, because they're trying to get the scepter to raise the ghost army. So that's what they're doing. I'm also realizing now that I'm on the stream, I should perfect my hair. Now that hundreds of people can see me on the internet, I gotta make sure I look good, because there's only
When we
so
were in the
many
green
times.
room, I was like, oh my God, is that like a Rachel reference? And he was like, no.
I was like, it didn't start it at first, and then the Rachel thing happened, and then I was like, yay, justification. Alrighty. So, this chapter opens with, Jason first saw the angel at the ice cream cart, and I was like, this is new information, right? Surely this is new information. But it also kind of fits into what Annabeth has talked about with this book, specifically her Tartar situation, but she has the sure why not principle going on, and I feel like that's definitely the case. It's just like, angel eating ice cream? Yeah, whatever, sure, why not? Yeah.
I saw a truck that said like Mediterranean shipping service drive past me today, and I was like, I know what you are.
Yeah, that is missed for sure. That's a missed. I also saw there was a moving company. It was a big moving truck in front of our building. And it was one of those, like, didn't have a big logo. It just had like a really small, like, just like black text in the corner that said like Pan Moving Company. And that was it. And I was like, that feels like maybe this is the trireme. Like, this feels like a big thing being hidden by the mist. So this opens with the Argo for Good being docked along the cruise ships. All right, because the second Wicked movie was Wicked for Good. The Argo for Good is docked along the cruise ships. So Nico and Jason hop over to one of them so that when they leave, it feels like they're in a crowd and they're not just like walking off of whatever the mist has the trireme disguised as.
They gotta blend in.
They gotta blend in, for sure. So they're walking through with some tourists, and Jason, as the narrator, lets us know that Split looks like a fun town. There's palm trees along the coast, there's outdoor cafes, there's the smell of fresh food and fresh flowers. I've never been. Have you ever been to Croatia?
I have not, but the Croatian Tourism Board clearly sponsored this chapter.
I wonder if people were like pitching to Rick. They were like, hey, want to put in a good word for
Split?
Croatia's been really high on my to visit list. I really, really, really want to go. It would be so fun. Maybe I'll go to Split. Jason.
Live episode.
Gotta. Yeah, we'll have ice cream and everything. Now, Jason notes that there is cool, eclectic architecture all around. There's castles, there's Roman walls, there's tile-roofed limestone homes, and then there's just like very modern office buildings as well. So there is a hill in the distance, which Jason notes is beautiful, but he's also like, this is very scary because of the looming threat of Gia. Now, Nico and Jason walk along the esplanade, and they see a guy with wings buying ice cream from a street cart. And I was like, yes, the title. Here we are. That didn't take too long. And then there's this exchange between the two boys where Jason goes, are you seeing this? And Nico goes, yeah, we should get ice cream. Priorities. Jason worries that this could be the son of Boreas, as he's carrying some sort of jaggedy sword like Boreas had, and Jason didn't have a good run-in with those folks in The Lost Hero, so he's hoping that that is not it. But this guy seems warmer and more relaxed. He's got a red tank top, Bermuda shorts, huarache sandals. And huarache sandals I know are different, but for me, the word huarache, there was a brand of Nike basketball shoes / athletic shoes that were huaraches, so for the longest time in my brain, that's only what the word huarache was, until I was in Boise, Idaho, the land of Mexican food. And there was a very highly rated taco truck near where we were performing, and on the menu was huaraches, and I was like, I thought those were shoes. I'll take one. And it was delicious. It was like a corn masa type dish. Oh. Very, very good. And then now we've got huarache sandals coming up. But yeah, I've been learning more about huaraches from my high school jock brain into a world traveler.
I just thought they were like the little woven, like...
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how Nike went from like those to like these very like Nike huaraches look nothing like huarache shoes at all. They
don't
very
have like any woven components.
No, they're like basketball shoes. Oh. Like they are very much like Air Jordan-y kind of.
So like not land to sea.
No, they are 3-point line to the paint. Like they are not. That is where you're traveling. Or in basketball, ideally not traveling. So the wing colors of this guy look like a sunset or like a rooster. So there's reds and yellows and everything like that. Nico informs Jason that this being is not a returned spirit. It's not a creature of the underworld, so could be a friend, but he doesn't know who this is. But they get closer and the angel notices them, smiles, gestures over his shoulder, and then disappears. So very intriguing. Ooh. Now, Jason's wind powers allow him to track where this guy's essence is going, and it heads to a large fortress at the end of the promenade, and Jason guesses that that is the palace. Narrator Jason says, quote, even after 2 millennia, Diocletian's palace was still impressive. The outer wall was only a pink granite shell with crumbling columns and arched windows open to the sky, but it was mostly intact, a 1/4 mile long and 70 or 80 feet tall, dwarfing the modern shops and houses that huddled beneath it. Jason imagined what the palace must have looked like when it was newly built, with imperial guards walking the ramparts, love a rampart, gotta know if they're crenellated, and the golden eagles of Rome glinting on the parapets. I love when Rick gets into describe a place mode.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if there's like a literary term for when you just kind of like get the vibe of a setting, like scene dressing kind of, but like when he does this, I always recline in my chair just like,
And it's just so precise. I also love when he like goes fashion author mode. For like some people it's like, you never know what they look like. You don't know what they're wearing. And then others, it's like, he's wearing this, he's wearing this, he's wearing this.
Yeah. He did that here with the Bermuda shorts. Like,
Exactly.
It's a good vibe. I think it really does, like, paint the scene. It's one of those ways where I think certain Rick Riordan passages, you just, like, can really see clear as day what is happening. And I think it's a testament to the way he describes stuff.
Yeah. And I am deeply impressed that Jason can just eyeball a 1/4 mile.
Well, he's young. But yeah, maybe I wonder if that has something, is that some sort of win? Is there some sort of reason where it's like the rods and cones?
He's like, I can just tell that it would take this many seconds for the wind to travel. To the end of-
any sort of like estimation stuff I'm always impressed by. Like, and they do this sometimes in the book where it's like, he saw like, this looked about like 40 feet large. And I'm like, unless there's a basketball hoop for me to do reference to, I have no idea how big things are. Jason sees the tourist entrance a few blocks away, and then he sees the angel flying in and out of windows by the palace, so he thinks that's too far away. So he just grabs Nico, and then they fly over the wall. And then a little kid has to do a double take when they land, quote, then his eyes glazed over and he shook his head like he was dismissing a juice box-induced hallucination. I love just imagining a kid like taking a sip and being like, what is in this stuff? Like he accidentally had a wine that's stronger than he thought it was.
That's another thing that I feel like Rick is so good at is these little moments that you experienced as a child, but then you also witness as like an adult, especially if you're a parent.
Yeah.
And it just made me think of like all the times where I thought I saw something like kind of cool, and then it was like, oh no, that was just a person. Or was it?
Yeah, I also like the hinting of that of like, can children see through the mist because they believe? Like, is it one of those?
And then like, I hadn't thought about this kid since the last time I read this book, but like, I was like, is this just like Broom Boy? Are we gonna meet from like The Last Jedi?
Oh, you say that like I'm a big Star Wars guy.
Okay, is this kid gonna be like important someday?
Isn't it like a thing? I feel like it's yeah. I think there's like he's like in a crowd of something, and he like
No, he's just like by himself in a stable, and like he's enslaved, I think, and he's been told to clean up, and he just like reaches his hand out and like so you're like, ooh, is he force sensitive? And then we never see him again
until something. That's fun. Yeah, I'm like a little Star Warsy, but not enough. Unsurprising given my
Toss
career.
out all my other Star Wars references I had planned.
Sorry. Kelly texted me. It started. And is the stream still streaming? I think it's still streaming. Am I still streaming? I'm still streaming. Yay, we're going. Cool. Great, fun. All right, fun, cool, great. Back to the show. Anyway, Percy Jackson. Nico and Jason then spot a row of columns holding up some gray arches, and Nico clocks this as the entrance to Diocletian's private estate, aka the peristyle, fun word I'd never heard before, and then he harshly tells Jason, do not grab me again, I don't like being touched.
Set those boundaries.
Yes. So Jason apologizes, but then asks, how do you know what this place is called? And Nico says that he was here before with his mom and Bianca. They went on a weekend trip back when they traveled there from Venice when he was about 6 years old, which of course was in 1938 because of his whole thing. So Nico asks, why do you care? And then asks Jason, do you see where the angel went? And Jason says, no. And then narrator Jason lets us know he's still trying to come to grips with what happened to Nico. It feels like a really harsh situation to be in. He's just trying to fathom his backstory. And he is saying as the narrator that he wants to get to know Nico better because he feels like if he knows his teammates better, he can protect them better, be a better leader. And I think that this is true. It's obviously not the same sort of thing of like fighting a war versus what I'm about to describe, but when I was on my improv team in college, my junior year was the first year that I was on the troupe, and like things were good, but then we had a coach come in our senior year, and the first like 3 practices that he was there for, it was like when they do the invisible basketball passing in Air Bud, where it was just like, you gotta be closer as a unit. So he was just like, everybody's got to get to know each other better, everybody's got to start eating lunch together, everybody's got to start hanging out more. We did a bunch of like goofy things just to like all really like bond, less so of like, here's how you do improv better, more of like, you all got to become closer as people, because if you know someone as a friend, you'll know them as an improviser, you'll know their like comedic tendencies, so you'll know better on stage. And it was like night and day between the 2 years. So as a leader, I like Jason being like, I just want to know more about my crew so that I can stand up for them better, fight with them better, work with them better. I think it's great. I really like his leadership tendencies.
I agree. And I think especially because he and Nico feel like so far from each other on the spectrum of like understood versus not.
Yeah.
I like that we're planting seeds for whatever could possibly happen.
So then Jason says to Nico, I can't imagine what you had to go through. And Nico's like, yeah, it's really hard to talk about. I don't like to talk about it. But he does add that I think Nico thinks Hazel probably has it worse because she can remember more of her childhood. I was so young that it's kind of like whatever, but like Hazel lived a life and then had to come back. And his whole like Lotus Casino thing, the time transition, like in a weird way made it easier for him. So then Jason says that, oh yeah, Percy told me about how you were there for 70 years, but it only felt like a month. And then the book goes, Nico clenched his fist until his fingers turned white. Yeah, I'm sure Percy told you all about me. His voice was heavy with bitterness, more than Jason could understand. He knew that Nico blamed Percy for getting his sister Bianca killed, killed, but they'd supposedly got past that. At least according to Percy, Piper had also mentioned a rumor that Nico had a crush on Annabeth. Maybe that was part of it, and I wrote in my notes, oh, right, that. Because, and this is funny given we're all about to learn, I never believed it. Never. It felt so forced and weird when it was kind of, I think, because to my recollection, it just gets like thrown in like Mark of Athena, where it's like, oh yeah, Nico's always had a crush on Annabeth. And I was like, what? And then now I guess that was like planting the seed for what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, I also just feel like that's not, if he was going to like a girl at camp, that's not who I would think. So it's like, you got to make it a little more.
Yeah, a little more believable if there's
Yeah.
going to be like the red herring kind of thing. Yeah. So even with all this context, Jason is unsure why Nico pushes people away. He doesn't spend time at camp. He prefers the dead to the living. And if he hates Percy so much, why would he agree to lead the Argo 2, whatever the second Ace Ventura movie is, back to Epirus? Does anyone know what the second Ace Ventura movie is? When Nature Calls. Thank you so much. I wrote here in my notes, figure out what the Ace Ventura second movie is. And then it just didn't go on. So anyway, Nico warns Jason that there are angry lairs and lemures all around watching. Jason asks if they are mad at them, which is my first thought, because Nico said they're angry. So Jason's like, are they mad at us? Which is exactly the first question I would have asked. And Nico goes, nah, they're just kind of mad at everything, because this temple used to be a temple to Jupiter, but then the Christians came in and they made it a baptistery, so it's just not like what it was intended. They're all grumpy, so the ghosts hate it. Narrator Jason thinks about how he usually thinks of his father, who he has never met, as just like a living person. He thinks of it as more of like my mom's partner, as opposed to this immortal being that people have been worshiping thousands of years ago. So for him to be in this context is like kind of a new twist for him.
I feel like it's like the inverse of like how little kids will think their parents are like the greatest, most powerful beings ever, and then they're like, oh, they're just people. Like later,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, Dad's not just a normal guy.
Yeah.
he's a big dad.
He's a big, important dad. So then Nico points to a hexagonal building that he identifies as the Mausoleum of the Emperor. And Jason guesses that, okay, yeah, the tomb's not going to be there anymore, right? Nico confirms that, yeah, it's been gone for centuries and it was turned into a cathedral. Jason and Nico agree that this must mean that Diocletian's ghost is angry as well. Jason sees the angel, so they follow him down a set of stairs. Jason asks Nico where he thinks it leads, and Nico draws his sword and says, underground, my favorite place. And I can only imagine that when he says underground, my favorite place, he pulls out a pair of, gosh darn it, sunglasses like at CSI Miami and goes, underground, my favorite place. I could only... this joke is thanks to Ashlee reminding me. When I read this, I was like, remind me to bring my sunglasses and put them in my pocket.
And I was like trying to get a full breakdown. I was like, are you both doing glasses? Do I need to bring glasses? Have you already picked up glasses?
But it was just like, I thought of this earlier today when I was reading this. And I then just had to make sure I didn't forget. So I texted you and here we are. But then it was just, these pockets are too good and perfectly sunglasses sized that it was hard to get out. But anyway.
Should have checked it.
I didn't have enough time. Had to finish reading. So Jason sees the angel. They follow him and they're going underground. And Jason lets us know, as the narrator, that he does not like underground. It's not been good ever since all the underground stuff that went down in the Mark of Athena. So he's not stoked to be here. Jason's not calmed by Nico's presence while they're underground because the glow of his Stygian blade just makes everything look creepier. And I like that this is like a counter to Riptide making a positive glow, this negative glow. Like, I don't know, what is it, like a black light? Like, I don't know what's going on that it makes it look spookier. But then they work their way through this old boarded up area and they eventually go past this bust of Diocletian that kind of like jump scares Jason. He decides that this will be a good spot to leave the note for Reyna, so he puts it there. And then he thinks like, oh, this bust kind of reminds me of Terminus. I hope it doesn't start speaking. And then he hears a voice and he gets spooked and he beheads the statue. But it turns out that it is the angel who's in a different part of the room, and the angel's like, oh, Kelly says it's not working. Huh? Uh-oh. No. But it looks like it's working. Hold on. Oh, no. Micah, I don't know what's going on, but...
I'll reset it.
Okay, cool. Because it's weird. I have one thing open where it's like, it like on my stream preview thing, it looks like it's going, but if you try to use like the link, it's not going. So I don't know if that meant it never started. It should have. Okay, we'll see. We got to do the show. We only have 35 minutes worth of kickoffs off stage, so I'm going to focus on that. I believe in you, Micah. I believe in you. Okay, so let's see. It turns out that it's the angel. Yep. Too stressed. Okay, turns out it's the angel who says that beheading the statue isn't very nice. What did Diocletian ever do to you? And Jason then reassembles the statue with wind powers, which I think is very fun of a way to use these powers. He says, like, it was just an accident. My bad, dude. You startled me. And then this angel goes like, the west wind has been called many things, but startling is not one of them. And I was like, Zephyr, is that you? Because I'm familiar with your craft. And Nico inches back a little bit, and this guy reveals that his name is Favonius. He's the god of the west wind, but his Greek name is Zephyros, so they can call him either. Yeah. Now, Nico asks, why aren't your Greek and Roman aspects in conflict? And he's like, I'm a minor god. I got some slight headaches and hiccups, but nothing major. And then Jason asks, all right, what are you doing here? And then he takes it too literally by like talking about his day and what he's currently doing. And Jason's like, why did you appear to me? Why have you led us here? And Favonius responds that he is here to show them that what they are looking for, the scepter, is not here. He says that his master has taken it. And I was like, who's his master? And then Jason immediately goes, who's your master? Then he follows up with saying, please tell me your master is not Aeolus, our chaotic wind god from before. And then Favonius goes, that airhead? What a joke. What a good joke. I have to hit stream on YouTube? I got to do this? There's a button that says go live. Okay. No. That was so easy. I know this is an ology show. If there's a child here, I'm sorry.
Your dad's gonna walk out from the back of the room.
Damn it! Okay. All right. Hello, everyone watching the stream. I am so sorry. When the stream was going, like 30 minutes ago, I looked at the thing that was like my preview of the stream, not the public thing of the stream, and I had to click go live. And I didn't know that I had to do it, / I didn't know that Micah, our stream guy, had the power that I had to do it. So I'm really sorry. Now, I will figure something out. We'll do some sort of make good. You've come in towards the end of chapter 35. I thought you've been here since the beginning of chapter 35. We only have the stage until 8:30, which is in 33 minutes. So we gotta go. I'm so sorry, stream people. Let's get it going, though. You stream people, you didn't miss the thing you're really here for. So we're gonna get going. Let the record show I was wearing a cool jacket, but I got too stressed and sweaty. So if my hair doesn't look good also, that's why. All right, anyway, Percy Jackson. So, no, I'm trying. Thank you. So, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Favonius goes, that airhead, which is great. Nico then knows that his master is Eros, a.k.a. Cupid in Latin. So then Favonius congratulates him on his correct answer and says, it's nice to see you again, Nico. And Nico goes, we've never met. And Favonius says, you've never seen me, but
creepy.
I've been watching you.
Edward Cullen.
Oh, yes. I have seen enough of Twilight to get that one, so we're good. He said that he did so when Nico visited here as a small boy and knew that he would be back to, quote, look upon my master's face. And I was like, that's weird. That is super duper weird. So then the book goes, Nico turned even paler than usual. His eyes darted around the cavernous room as if he was starting to feel trapped. Nico, Jason said, what's he talking about? I don't know, nothing. So, something. So then Favonius goes, nothing? The one you care for most plunged into Tartarus? And I was like, oh. And still you will not allow the truth? Suddenly, Jason felt like he was eavesdropping. The one you care for most. He remembered what Piper had told him about Nico's crush on Annabeth. Apparently, Nico's feelings went way deeper than a simple crush. And then I wrote in my notes in all caps, oh, he has a crush on Percy Jackson. Oh.
He's not in love with Annabeth?
So do you remember when you first read these, like where you were at with this? Like, did you predict it?
Okay.
Obviously, I had some like hints to make this more easy to see.
So
Oh, yeah, sorry. For context for everyone watching the stream, my hints were that a lot of people emailed me like, here's who should be a good guest for this chapter. And they were all gay and bisexual people. So, and then I knew some of the like Nico book stuff. Like I had seen the cover and I knew it was about two boys, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so as some of you may or may not know, I hadn't read Percy Jackson until I started working on the musical. And I started working on the musical like 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. So at that point, I had only read The Lightning Thief because I had just started. And I was like, oh, we should do like a fun ship thing for Valentine's Day. And I was like, the only ship I know about is Percy and Annabeth at this point. And so I literally Googled, are there queer ships in Percy Jackson?
That's a great Google search.
Because I was like, that was obviously my priority. And so I knew way before I even met Nico.
That it was out there.
Yeah, he arrived to me and I was like, yes.
Hello.
You're one of us.
Oh,
come
hello.
in.
What's funny is I'm glad this like all went over my head because at one point at Comic-Con this fall, I had a meeting with one of the creative directors of Wattpad. This is a bonus episode. Yeah. Join the Patreon. It's a good bonus episode where I like got to interview them.
Podcast for the kissing booth?
They basically like emailed me and they were like, do you want to interview this person? And I was like, yeah. So they were like talking, and one of the questions they asked was like about ships, and I was like, oh, I don't know, like what I feel like I don't hear as many ships as I have with other universes because it's just like I feel like Percy and Annabeth are such a thing that there's not other ships. And this person was like, well, there's obviously like Percy and Nico, and I remember being like, that's weird. I don't know. So it went so far over my head, but like, yeah, it was just funny to look back. So anyway, he's got a crush on Percy Jackson, I'm guessing. Nico insists that they are only here for the scepter. Mm-hmm. We're just here on man business. Not any gay stuff.
Guys being dudes.
We're just two dudes getting a sword.
5 feet apart.
We're really far away. Jason can tell that he's trying to change the subject. Nico asks, where is it? And Favonius makes it clear that it's not that simple. Then he mentions trials, and Jason does not like hearing about trials. Favonius is waxing about bringing people here who sought love. They would bring them into the presence of Cupid. That triggers Jason into recalling a story about Psyche, Cupid's wife, who was brought here. He says this aloud, and Favonius confirms. And he adds that Diocletian built this palace here because it was always greeted with a gentle west wind, quote, when Diocletian's palace was ransacked. And Jason goes, you took the scepter. And he insists that it was for safekeeping. It was a treasure of Cupid's. And Favonius says that the only way to obtain it is to face the god of love. So Nico has this look of dread on his face, and Jason thinks, this shouldn't be a big deal. You just got to reveal, some girl you have a crush on. Big whoop. What's a problem with that? It's totally fine.
And she's not even like a really special girl. Like, she's not dating anybody even.
Jason encourages Nico, saying, look, it might be embarrassing, but the scepter's really going to help us out. It's worth it. Nico looks like he's going to be sick. He says he's not afraid of the god of love, but he definitely sounds like he's afraid of the god of love. Favonius looks ecstatic and then offers him some fruit, but then goes, oh, bluster. I keep forgetting my symbol is a basket of unripe fruit. Why doesn't the spring wind get more credit? Summer has all the fun.
Because it has Pride Month.
Nice. I did like, oh, bluster. That's a fun, like, wind-themed, like, oh, shucks, oh, bluster.
Your dad would be proud.
Nico says it's fine, just wants to go to Cupid, and the narrator, Jason, says, Favonius spun the hoop on his finger, and Jason's body dissolved into air. That's the end of chapter 35, which I've retitled, On the Wings of Love. What have you retitled chapter 35?
Jason, too.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Hello and welcome to the House of Headlines Auxiliary Shubio edition, taking our break here somewhat abruptly because by nature of this live show only being a one-act show, I didn't have the natural goodbye podcast people transition to do, and we've got to do mid-roll updates because we've got new content on the Patreon to talk about, scheduling updates, new live shows just announced, lots of fun stuff, so let's get into that in the House of Headlines. First up, at some point in this episode, I will mention a bonus episode interview that I did with the head of content of Wattpad, the fan fiction website, and I thought I had uploaded it earlier, but I guess I hadn't. So that is now up on the Patreon. If you're a bonus episode to your patron and above, so Super God and above, you can listen to it. But yeah, I chatted with Alessandra this past October at New York Comic Con about all sorts of things with just how fan fiction in general and Wattpad specifically interact and incorporate into the Percy Jackson fandom space. It was a really fun and insightful chat, and spoiler free, because we talked beforehand. I was like, look, we got to make sure. My whole job is this. Please, please, please. It was a fun time. You also can find the link to it directly in the episode notes of this episode, so you can go right there. And then if you're not a patron or you're not the right tier of patron, I believe it'll prompt you to upgrade to the proper tier. Also, if you want to hear the unbleeped version of my big expletive realization that the stream wasn't actually working and I needed to do the clicking, even though let the record show that Micah in this episode said we were live on the internet. So I don't know. If you want to hear my whole unedited thing, that's a bonus episode thing available for any patron over at the TNO Patreon. Check it out. It's pretty funny. The scheduling update that I referred to is the fact that June is a 5-Monday month, so I will be taking the first Monday in June off. That means no episode on June 1st, maybe a bonus episode thing if I've got something, I'm not sure, but that just means we'll have an episode next week, we won't have one on June 1st, and we'll be back on June 8th to continue our coverage of the House of Hades. One other little scheduling programming note is that because this one was a little rushed in terms of getting to that ending moment and then the show ending, the beginning of our next episode with Kelly, we talk a little bit more about the big reveal that is in the chapter to come. So if you listen to the end of this episode and you're like, I wish they talked about that big moment more, we talk about it more with Kelly at the beginning of the next live show to make sure that this big crescendo moment gets its proper due. Now, earlier I did talk about live shows, and we've got 2 new live shows in addition to the New York City show, which is up for sale right now. Those shows are also in the Northeast. I'll be in Boston, Massachusetts on September 20th, and I'll be in Doylestown, Pennsylvania on September 27th. What I actually mean is that I'll be in Somerville, Massachusetts on September 20th, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the 27th. You can get tickets to those shows right now at thenewsolympian.com/live. Somerville is actually really close to Boston. It's basically Boston. Doylestown, that's just the joke that I got to ride with forever because it's too funny not to. But yes, New York City, Boston, Philly coming to the Northeast this late summer, early fall. Come through and get your tickets. I'm very excited about it. I think I'm going to do a competition thing again where whichever one of these 3 shows sells the most tickets, I'll do some sort of gift, maybe some free Mark of Athena bookmarks or something like that. I don't know. So make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you bring your friends. It's going to be an absolute blast. I'm so stoked about the shows. And if you follow at News Olympian on Instagram, when those dates approach, I will post about what chapters we're covering. But since it's so far in the future, I don't know exactly what we're going to be, but my guess is that it will be the end of the House of Hades. That's my prediction. Now, as I've been saying in the mid-rolls of the past couple of episodes, I'm waiting for the stream people to send me the properly edited video file. They still haven't sent it, and if you're miffed by this, just imagine how I feel. I am quite upset with this streaming company, and I want the video as soon as possible so that I can send it to the people who had the stream, and then I can put it up for sale for anyone who wants. So please just keep listening to Midroll Breaks or following us on Instagram at News Olympian for a post about the update. But whenever I do have the proper full video version of this, I will put it up for sale for everybody, and then I will send it for free to anyone who bought a stream ticket. I am very upset that it's taken them more than a month to get me the file. They're saying it has to do with the way in which it was shot. It was this really big file. They're doing color correction. They're doing editing, blah, blah, blah. I get it, but also come on. So I am sorry. So many things went wrong with this. Super duper frustrating on all accounts, but I'm trying to get it to you as quickly as I can. I've sent a few just checking in emails, and I'm getting ever so slightly angrier as the emails continue. But yeah, I wish I had a different update, but hopefully we'll have that video soon, and then I can get it to everybody. On the flip side of people who are making me upset, people who are making me really happy are TNO patrons. I really do appreciate all the Patreon support. You all are the best. You make this incredible situation a full-time job for me, which is wild and beautiful. And I don't have any new patrons to announce in between last episode and this episode, though I do have a makeup announcement because Raccoon Moon 149 upgraded to the Ultra God tier status, and I didn't see this, so my apologies, Raccoon Moon 149, for being in the Ultra God tier. Super cool. We'll be saying your name in the ending of every credits. And I also want to give a shout out to Marco Redhouse, one of our producer level patrons from the past, who took a break from producer level patronage and now is back as a producer. So Marco, you will be back in the ending credits of every single episode. Thank you so much. And I will be posting a poll for the Ultra God tier patrons to help decide what goes in the next poster for the new Olympian, because we've got to make new posters and prep for our 3 new live shows coming up later this year. So you all will be able to give me input about what inside jokes should make it into the poster. Very exciting. But thank you all so much for your support. May Pomona bless you that if you have a lime to squeeze, that it doesn't do that thing where you squirt it and it goes either into your eye or misses where you're squirting on or slides out of your hand. Have I had some interesting lime stuff happen recently with the fajitas that I made for the family? Maybe. Did the lime that I squeezed go flying across the table and get lime juice and pulp everywhere? Maybe. Who's to say? Maybe Pomona could help me out in the future. Now, if you're all caught up on the new Olympian and you're looking for some new content to consume, you are in luck because I make a whole bunch of stuff. I think you would like the stuff that I make. And there is a podcast that I've been working on with Sequoia and Sherry, and it's called Professional Talkers, and I think you would just love it. Sequoia and I, every other week, put together an episode where we are sharing advice. It is comedic advice, and it ranges from lots of different topics. Our most recent episode is about how to nail your high school reunion, and our expert guest, because sometimes we bring in expert guests, our expert guest was Sequoia's mom, and it was a delightful, delightful interview. I think you're really going to enjoy it, but there's a lot of really fun episodes covering big yikes and small yikes, awkward conversations. It's called Professional Talkers. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Sherry is our Gen Z correspondent, our introvert Gen Z vibe checker to make sure that me and Sequoia, being extroverted millennials, don't give skewed advice, but it's really fun, and you can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts or by going to our website, professionaltalkers.com. Now, unless you're listening on Patreon where you get access to ad-free episodes, you're going to hear words from a few sponsors to make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of those ads will be read by me, and others of them won't be. The ones that aren't read by me are inserted locally. So if you live in Estonia, don't be surprised if you hear an ad in Estonian. But once those ads are complete, we'll get back into this episode of The Newest Olympian.
Let's get into chapter 36, which is called Jason. It opens with, quote, Jason had ridden the wind many times. Being the wind was not the same. Jason feels out of control, like his body has no boundaries. He wonders if monsters feel this way when they get turned to dust. He can sense Nico's presence as they fly to some Roman ruins, and then they reform, where the hyphen is very important here, because reform and reform, not the same. It's like in sports, like re-sign versus resign, very different. Very different when it's like, this coach resigned. It's like, or like, we re-signed this coach. Ah, okay, he's still working for us. Now, Jason looks around. He looks around the ruins, and he gathers that this town must have just been this huge, sprawling town. It looks like it kind of just got abandoned, not necessarily that it was destroyed or major excavation happened. It just like feels like people left.
They turned their back on love.
No. Favonius welcomes them to Salona, the capital of Dalmatia, the birthplace of Diocletian, and the home of Cupid. Jason feels more creeped out here than in the basement. He never thought of Cupid as scary until now. We always just kind of thought of Cupid as little winged baby. But I always feared that this was going to happen because ever since they had the tiny little Cupid statues in Waterworld in The Lightning Thief, I was like, the vibes of these are off. If we ever get Cupid, it's not going to be good. And that is coming to be very true. So then Favonius says, Cupid's not like that. And Jason goes, can you read my mind? And Favonius says, I don't need to. Everybody thinks this until they actually meet Cupid. Now, Nico leans against a column for support. His legs are shaking, and Jason goes over to try and help, but Nico waves him off.
Don't touch me.
I don't like to be touched, especially not by strapping young gentlemen. Not strong boys. The grass by Nico's feet begins to decay. Favonius doesn't blame him for this reaction. He asks him if he knows the tale of how Favonius came to work for Cupid. And Nico says, I don't serve anyone. And then Favonius just continues the story. He fell in love with a mortal named Hyacinthus. And I was reading this, I was like the flower? We'll see. Quote, he was quite extraordinary. And then Jason goes, he? Oh. And
At least he credits this to like having a fuzzy brain from being the wind recently. It's not just, Jason being like, boys can like boys. So I don't think like it's as bad as it could have been. But also like, I don't know, I feel like the time when this book came out, like mid-2010s, like it is, I think we're still in like It's a Different Time territory.
Yeah, I feel like it's very believable that like a straight teen boy like wouldn't be thinking about that. But I like that Rick is like, let me just remind y'all who the Greeks and Romans are.
Yeah. It's good because even before that, he kind of like does the thing of like poking fun of him because Favonius goes, yes, Jason Grace, I fell in love with a dude in italics. Does that shock you? And then Jason has this thing where he's like, yeah, thinking about the Greeks and Romans? Yeah. But then he does kind of credit, I guess, to try to make Jason not look like as close-minded. Jason was like, I just kind of try not to think about everybody's love life, especially my dad's. So it's more
That's all
that
the aunts and uncles.
Yeah, it's a lot of my relatives. I'm trying not to think of who they're interested in. So I get it. But he then Jason guesses like, oh, okay, did Cupid just, shoot you with a love arrow and then boom? And then Favonius laughs saying, love is never that simple. Apollo had the hots for Hyacinthus as well, and Favonius saw them playing a game of quoits together. Jason asks what that is because this is the second time it's come up, and Nico answers, it's like horseshoes but with hoops. Sure.
Yeah.
Great. Favonius says that he was jealous, and rather than ask what the truth was, they had claimed to just be friends. He assumed, and he shifted the wind to send a heavy metal ring through Hyacinthus' head, so he didn't make it out. As he died, Apollo turned him into a flower, and that flower was actually a rose. No, it's the hyacinth flower. But then Cupid offered Favonius protection because basically Apollo was going to use this big rage. So he was like, hey, if you work for me forever, I'll keep you safe. So he took that deal. And then now here's where we are. That's why he's serving.
Queer community.
So the name of Cupid echoes again. Every time they've said Cupid, it kind of like echoes through where they are. And then Favonius calls that his Cupid. And then he tells Nico to be honest with Cupid and to control his anger, to not have a fate like his. And Jason's confused, but he has no time to think about it because the ground shakes. Jason and Nico draw their swords, and then they hear a voice, but they don't see anyone. And the voice goes, so you come to claim the scepter. Ooh, very ominous. Jason asks where he is, and the voice laughs, but it's a deep and daunting laugh. It's not winged baby Cupid. We've got a very different Cupid. And I don't think I would have predicted this, but it's a very fun villain, like a very fun way to do Cupid.
Yeah, I feel like I always just think of that one statue of Cupid and Psyche.
I don't know this one.
Oh, it's like so, like capital Y yearning.
Oh.
You gotta look it up. That's like my permanent image of Cupid now.
I'm going to just Google Cupid statue and assume that it shows up as the first one. That was a typo, so it gave me something else. Cupid statue? No, it's just a bunch of little babies.
It is just, yeah.
Bunch of little baby statues. Well, get it after the show. We don't have time.
That's bonus material.
Bonus, yeah. To go join the Patreon. So, Jason asks, where are you? And the voice laughs and goes, where you least expect me, as love always is. And then something slams into Jason and sends him flying across the street. Cupid taunts Jason, saying, I thought you would know better since you found true love. Quote, or do you still doubt yourself? I was like, no, not Jason and Piper's relationship that's really rocky and shaky. No. I want them to be okay. Nico checks in on Jason, who seems to be fine. He just calls it a sucker punch, and Cupid says, love never plays fair. Jason now focuses. He feels the wind, and he deflects an arrow that was headed straight for Nico away. Then they run up a set of stairs. Jason saves Nico from a falling column. And then Jason grumbles, is this guy love or death? And Cupid tells him, oh, you should ask your friends from the son of Neptune, because they met Thanatos, and we're not so different, except death is sometimes kinder. So Cupid really ramping up.
What a bar.
Yeah, really ramping up the terror levels. Nico screams that they just want the scepter. They want to do it to defeat Gia, asks, whose side are you on? And Cupid says, I'm on all sides and no sides. Quote, don't ask what love can do for you. And Jason goes, great, now he's spouting greeting card messages. Good Jason chapter. He senses Cupid approaching, even though he can't see him, and he makes him bleed ichor. So he did get a slash on him. Very cool. Love to see it. Cupid congratulates him, and Jason goes, yeah, do I get the scepter now? And Cupid laughs, and he says, you cannot wield it. Only a child of the underworld can summon the dead legions, and only an officer of Rome can lead them. And Jason wonders, do I still qualify for that second one? we going to have to get Raina or Percy in here? I feel like I count, do I? Yeah, which I thought was very, very funny. He blocks another arrow earlier, then a third one goes towards Nico, and Jason can't deflect it. It gets Nico in the arm. And Nico demands that Cupid show himself. Cupid says that looking upon the true face of love is costly. Quote, my wife Psyche learned that lesson. She was brought here eons ago when this was the site of my palace. We met only in the dark. She was warned never to look upon me, and yet she could not stand the mystery. She feared I was a monster. One night she lit a candle and beheld my face as I slept. Now, she didn't vaporize like other people do with gods, so that's at least better. Jason hits him with a diss. He goes, were you really that ugly? Well done, well done. Bold, yeah. But, like, he's got to do a little trash talk. He's seen Percy. He's like, sometimes this works out for Percy, so what if I also talk the trash? And then he has a guess of where Cupid is. That's why he's doing the trash talk, so that he would respond and then can lock in on a big, like, thunder blast. Oh, Kelly sent me a picture of the statue. Ah, is this the one? No, okay. Good statue, though. So then Cupid chuckles and explains that he was too handsome. Aphrodite, his mother, cursed Psyche because, one, you're not supposed to look upon the true image of a god without any sort of consequence, and also wants to curse her for her distrust of Cupid. So what happened to Psyche was that she was exiled and given a task to prove her dedication. She did earn her way back, but she suffered along the way. Jason thinks that he's got him exactly locked in, so he summons lightning, and then it seems like it works. So Jason is very pleasantly surprised, like, did that work? But then a force knocks him down and sends his sword flying, so it didn't. Cupid calls it a good try, and then he sends a wall toppling towards Jason, who barely dodges, and then Nico demands that Cupid stop. Quote, it's me you want, leave him alone. Jason is confused. Nice. So Jason is confused, but it seems like Cupid agrees. So Cupid asks Nico if he knows, like, Nico, do you know what you want, let alone what I want? He says that Psyche risked everything for love to atone for her mistake, and asks Nico, what have you risked for me in the name of love? Nico says that he's been to Tartarus and back, so Cupid does not scare him, and Cupid goes, I know that I scare you very much. So then Jason rises, the ground shifts around Nico, stones start to crack like something is trying to push through, and then Nico demands the scepter, says he has no time for games, and Cupid says, love is no game. I'm just waiting at this point for him to say that love is a battlefield. Like, there's just...
Chapter title.
Oh, good. That's good. So he says, love is no game, quote, it demands everything from you, especially the truth. Only then does it yield rewards. And Jason grabs his sword and thinks that if this is love, love is overrated. And yeah, like, this is the kind of love that I feel like is portrayed when you watch one of those, like, really bad reality shows where it's just like people who aren't meant to be together are together, like The Bachelor, Love is Blind, or like the MTV one that Kelly watched and did all the one where they take the survey and then you're supposed to find who it is and they put the ball. It's like this big complicated one. Say what? Are you the one? Yeah. So, like, all that stuff where it's like people are just like, love is so hard, you gotta work at it, blah, blah, blah. And, like, yeah, you do, but also, like, you also, like, don't. Like, if you just, like, find someone that you mesh through, like, sometimes it's really easy. Like, yes, it's work, but these people are like, it's so much effort, I got a trial and tribulation. It's like, it seems like you're dating the wrong person. So Jason asks Nico, what does Cupid want from you? And Cupid tells Nico to reveal to Jason that he is a coward. He's scared of his feelings. He tells Nico to share the real reason that he left Camp Half-Blood and why he's always alone. And then Nico just unleashes this big scream and the ground splits open and skeletons emerge. Classic Nico. I just get angry.
It's
and then
not a phase.
Skeletons pop out of the ground. Cupid asks Nico if he will hide among the dead like he always does. And the narrator, Jason, says, quote, waves of darkness rolled off the son of Hades. When they hit Jason, he almost lost consciousness, overwhelmed by hatred and fear and shame. Kelly just texted because the stream's delayed. Are you the one? I love it. Images flash through Jason's mind, and these images include Nico and Bianca on a cliff in Maine with the manticore, the opening scenes from The Titan's Curse, and then later at Camp Half-Blood, Percy taking Nico by the arm, promising to keep Bianca safe. And then narrator Jason says, quote, Nico had believed him. Nico had looked into his sea green eyes and thought, how can he possibly fail? This is a real hero. He was Nico's favorite game, Mythomagic, brought to life. And now we're getting like really flowery Percy language, so I'm like, I think we know what's going on. And then we see one of the moment where Percy returned and had to deliver the bad news to Nico about Bianca, and Nico felt betrayed, but he still had to protect Percy from the skeleton warriors. And Jason just sees dozens of scenes like this, and they just absolutely wreck Jason. The skeletons that Nico summoned actually do grab Cupid, and Cupid's kind of laughing, but is intrigued, like, oh, do you have the strength after all, son of Hades? Ooh. Which is like never good when you do something cool against a boss in a boss fight, and they're like, ooh, that tickles. Like, that's not a good sign.
Making Mario sounds.
Yeah, like not what you want. So then Nico admits that he left Camp Half-Blood because of love, and he starts to say Annabeth, but then Cupid accuses him of hiding still, and then Jason goes, Nico, it's okay, I get it. And Nico says, no, you don't. There's no way you can understand. Just like, all right, Nico.
I don't know what it's like to be born in the 1930s.
Oh, I wonder if that's why. Ooh, is that a factor in like why he's so?
Oh, you haven't read the end of the chapter.
Oh yeah.
I was like, well, yes.
Yeah, so I stopped like once we got to the big thing, I stopped. So I'll like live paraphrase that part to close out the show.
Spoilers.
So yeah. No, you're good. So Cupid accuses him of running away from his friends again. Nico says he doesn't have friends, and he left Camp Half-Blood because of that. He doesn't belong. The skeletons have Cupid pinned, but he is laughing cruelly enough that Jason yells for him to stop, and he was gonna say it's none of his business, but then his narrator is like, this is exactly his business.
It's like, actually, my bad.
Yeah, we are talking about the one thing here, the god of.
You are allowed to cook here, unfortunately.
This is your kitchen. I will get out of it. Jason keeps thinking of Favonius going, are you shocked? And then narrator Jason says, the story of Psyche finally made sense to him, why a mortal girl would be so afraid, why she would risk breaking the rules to look the god of love in the face, because she feared he might be a monster. Psyche had been right. Cupid was a monster. Love was the most savage monster of all. And then Nico finally reveals that Annabeth is not who he's in love with, so we turn to me paraphrasing the book. Keep note paraphrasing so I don't get sued by Disney Hyperion. So, let's go to Paraphrase Town. All right. So Nico has a voice that sounds kind of strained, and he says, quote, I wasn't in love with Annabeth. And then Jason finishes his sentence saying, you were jealous of her. That's why you didn't want to be around her, especially why you didn't want to be around ... him. It makes total sense. Which, like, we've already established in this chapter, it's like one of the people you care about most is in Tartarus. Like, who's it, Bob? Like, what? He has been... God, what a plot twist this would be. Oh... How good would that? We get all this, and it's like, not Percy, Bob.
Or like, imagine if he had turned and he's like, it's you, Jason.
Ever since I met you a book ago. Yeah. Oh, man. So then Cupid is now visible. He's described as being lean and muscular with white wings, black hair. He's wearing a frock and jeans. He's got the bow and quiver. They're weapons. They're not toys. It's not like a cutesy thing. His eyes were red as blood, quote, as if every Valentine in the world had been squeezed dry, distilled into one poisonous mixture. Rick, how did you write tweets for this guy when he could do stuff like this? The pressure. Oh my gosh.
That's why I study like I'm taking the Percy Jackson MCAT.
No, TNO listeners, I think, more forgiving than a standard Percy Jackson fan, who are still a very forgiving bunch, I will say.
They are, especially as fandoms go.
Yeah, so... He says that he's a very good-looking dude, but still a very harsh-looking face, kind of, as difficult to look at as a spotlight, which is a new phenomenon. Me getting older, I now have, they are not here on stage with me like these glasses, but I've gotten astigmatism glasses because my eyesight's going a little bit. Oh my God, I went to a Broadway show and saw it, and I was like, this is what these shows look like? It's not just like bright, overexposed lighting all the time. Oh.
When I found out not everyone experiences headlights as stars, I was like, y'all are lying.
It's fun because, like, for the most part, I don't, like, really need them. I'll use them for screens because it kind of helps, or, like, late at night, it's good. Driving, it's nice, but I don't drive because I live in New York City. Oil, gas prices, everything's fine, guys. Just take the subway. MARTA, just take MARTA. Oh, right, yeah, you drive a lot here. Sorry, guys, sorry, not to touch on a sore subject. But the two things I like absolutely bring my astigmatism glasses for that I always need to do because it's the best is when I go to Broadway shows or sporting events. Those are like the harsh lighting
Your
things
two
I go to.
personalities.
My two personalities. Yeah, my two aspects. Is he a jock? Is he a nerd? Yeah, what am I going to do once again to the green room? Check the Knicks score.
Kelly's gonna text it to you.
No, Kelly, don't do it. I got 9 more minutes until I get kicked off. So, because if I know the score, I'll be like, how's Josh Hart doing? Okay, but let's see. Hands of face, spotlights. I have astigmatism. So he looks at Nico and he's got a look of satisfaction as if he had identified his exact spot for his next arrow to make a clean kill. And then Nico goes, I had, in the past tense, had a crush on Percy. That's the truth. That's the big secret. And then he glares at Cupid. Happy now? And then narrator Jason says, quote, for the first time, Cupid's gaze seems sympathetic. He says that he wouldn't say that love always makes you happy. And now his voice sounds more human. He says that love sometimes makes you sad, but at least now Nico has faced it, and that's the only way to conquer him. And Cupid dissolves into the wind. I love when that happens, when you think you have a big boss fight and then you do this little thing and it's like, all right, bye. But it continues with the narration. On the ground where he stood lay an ivory staff. Oh, cool. 3 feet long, topped with a dark globe of polished marble about the size of a baseball, nestled on the backs of 3 gold Roman eagles, the scepter of Diocletian. Cool. Great. Nico picks it up. Then he regards Jason as if waiting for an attack. If the others found out, then Jason says, if the others found out, you'd have that many more people to back you up and to unleash the fury of the gods or anybody who gives you trouble. What a supportive ally! Wow!
He said, y'all were wrong about me at the beginning of the chapter.
Yeah, good.
He's like that one mom that's like at Pride, like, I'll be your mom.
Yes!
Free hugs.
Yes, that's so good. Did you, I don't know, like if you had a coming out story or like supportive friend, like did you have someone that was like your Jason?
Yes. My mentor, Tim Federle, who's the creator of High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
I like emailed him and I was like, I think, subject line. And I was like, I don't know. I said something like, I think I might have something in common with some character. And he was like, are you coming out right now? And then he said, heaven and earth, do it. We need all of you. It was very sweet.
Wow. So he was your Jason.
He was my Jason.
Really good quotes. Everyone needs, everybody should have someone to hit you with a really powerful quote when you are brave enough to come out. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah. I don't want to share because I'd have to check with this person, but like, I hope there was someone who I was like an early person who knew, and I hope that I said something cool. Now I feel like all this pressure to say something cool. At least I think I was like a supportive friend. I'll have to double check after the show. Okay, so then the book continues. His voice cracked and Jason could tell the guy was about to get teary-eyed. So now he's wondering, like, has Nico really given up on Percy or not? But here we go. He's wondering, I can't imagine what it's like to keep this secret. It's got to be completely unthinkable to have this in the 1940s, denying who you are, just feeling so alone, just even more isolated than an already isolated demigod feels. Wow, Jason, go Jason! Gosh, I love Jason. So then continues.
He is not Beverly.
No, Sprite. So that was a Q&A question. We were giving people sodas. Then he goes over to Nico, and then he says, Nico, I have seen a lot of brave things, but what you just did, that was maybe the bravest. And then Nico looks up and goes, we should get back to the ship. And then Jason goes, yeah, I can fly us. And then the book ends with, quote, no, Nico announced. This time we're shadow traveling. I've had enough of the winds for a while. Ooh, I like that. And that's the end of the chapter, which is very fun. We've already decided to retitle this Love is a Battlefield, which is perfect. That's good. Wow, that's fun. I see why everybody hyped this up. These are really good. Any final thoughts on the chapter before we do like 1 or 2 Q&A questions? Because we do have a little bit of time.
I love these chapters so much because even though what I imagine it must be like, especially for kids who were kids when the book came out, is like the first time I read Song of Achilles back in 2012. So it was like way before it went viral. And I, didn't even know it was going to be like Achilles. Someone just gave me the book and I was like, okay, I will read.
Yeah.
And then like I read it all in one sitting in a coffee shop. And like, I will never forget being like, wait, is this gay? Because it was the first time I had ever like read an actually like for sure on the page gay book and not like a like wink wink maybe. So I feel like this must have been that experience for so many people.
Yeah, it's got to be cool. I'm glad Rick put it in, and like obviously I have the history with the Harry Potter and Dumbledore's gay the whole time, but like to have the courage to put it in the book and make it unbelievably explicit, and I think from what I'm reading, as best I can tell, like handle it really well. Like seems really awesome. And yeah, like this is the kind of stuff where it's just like really important why it is so good to like include so much diversity and all these different walks of life into these series, because yes, there's going to be some kid who sees themselves in Nico and like has the confidence to like accept who they really are. And that is just so awesome to see in a book. And I'm so glad that it's there. And now there's going to be even more to this. Like that's got to be even cool that like not only is this in the Heroes of Olympus, but we're getting like 2 Nico books where like, you know, it might come up, but we'll see. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, I love this. This is great. We're going to do like 1 or 2 questions. Kelly has been starring some questions, and we'll do like, I have time for like maybe 1 before they kick us off, and then we'll do all the goodbying and stuff. Oh, some people in the chat have issues with the forced outing. Yeah, I could see that being an issue, like that he didn't get to like come to it on his own terms. Like he didn't get to like really decide when he was ready. I see that having issue.
I feel like I've seen that be an issue, but I also feel like the way that it's immediately counteracted, like we're meant to think that that's kind of a villainous act.
That would be my read, is it's one of those things where it's like, yes, this is bad that it's happened, and I think the book is letting us know that it's bad.
Yes.
So maybe I'll have to see what happens in the next chapters, but maybe they talk about like, hey, that sucked, didn't it, that you didn't get to like come up with it? And maybe I would be interested to see if it gets addressed. But like, yeah, when I was reading, I was like, oh, he's not going to get to like, it's not on his own terms, which feels like
I think it also is like a product of the time too, because that was, I think, an experience for a lot of people, even if they did like have their official coming out. Like so many people got forced out of the closet or like bullied, or like things were just assumed about their identity. And even though this is like a rough thing, I do kind of appreciate that Rick alludes to that.
Yeah, I think it's very clear that this is like not the healthiest way to come out. So I think, yeah, we'll see. I think it's interesting. Okay, yeah, no, all right. Let's do this question from Ren. Hey, Mike, second time watching one of these live streams. I just have a piece of trivia for you. Did you know that chapter 36 was one of 2 chapters of House of Hades leaked on Tumblr, the gayest social media? Gay, non-derogatorily, obviously. Leaked on Tumblr before the book came out. Nobody predicted the reveal with Nico, so it was a huge deal back then. Are you familiar with the lore of this, or no, because it was after your time? That is a very fun fact. I like that.
I've known no world where people didn't know about Nico.
Yeah. Okay, this one's from Sylvia, and this will be our final one. This is Sylvia from Italy, technically studying in Ireland, but it's temporary. My question, we know that some of the gods have wings. I always pictured them like the classic Christian angel wings, but if you could give them any bird wings, what could they be? Like a pigeon god. Ooh, what kind of wings? I mean, I do love a pigeon, so I feel like my instinct is give someone some pigeon wings. Do you have any thoughts on some wings?
Well, I feel like Favonius has like cool, like
the
roostery
wings. Yeah. So I think that's fun. But Cupid, if he got something different, I don't know. I'm just thinking of cool wings. Like if someone had dragonfly wings, that'd be cool because they're like the big and the four.
I'm trying to think of like cool birds.
Hummingbirds, because the wings go so fast. Yeah. That's really cool.
Or like peacock. Peacock wings would be kind of cool.
Yeah, with the big. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And then all those birds that sometimes like when it's just like they just like stay stationary, they're just like having fun, like ride in the wind, just like staying in place. That's a good vibe.
He's like got a penguin's feather, but specifically during molting.
Yeah, love it, great. And that's our show. Thank you all so much for coming out. So lovely. You've been a wonderful crowd. Stream people, I appreciate you. I'm sorry that I messed up, and we're going to do something to make it up to you. I'll figure out a way to like live stream some other thing, and so keep an eye out in your inboxes, but thank you so much for dealing with all of that. Shout out to Ashlee for being an incredible guest. Shout out to Mike running sound and figuring everything out here. Shout out to Micah for figuring everything out with the stream. Shout out to Kelly for watching the baby so that we could do all this. Shout out to Kylie for running the merch table. I'm going to be at the merch table after the show, so come over there, say hey, get some merch and all that kind of stuff. Thanks to everyone here. This has been lovely. We rolled with the punches. Everything was great. Super fun times. Hope you all had a good time. Gotta come back to Atlanta, obviously. And when I do, it'll be great. But until then, I'll see you later. Thanks so much for coming out, everybody! Thanks for coming out, Nico! All right. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Newest Olympian. This podcast is created, hosted, and produced by me, Mike Schubert. I also run the social media and the website. Our editor is Sherry Guo. The music is by Bettina Campamanes and Brandon Grugel, and the art is by Jessica E. Boyd. If you just cannot get enough of the show, there's a couple of different things that you can do. First off, you can find us on social media. We're at Newest Olympian on Instagram and other places, but Instagram's where we're most active. You can also support the show on Patreon. TheNewestOlympian.com/Patreon is where you get access to bonus episodes, director's commentaries, behind-the-scenes looks in the pod, as well as our Discord. It's a phenomenal community with lots of wonderful TNO listeners. You can get access to that. The TNO Patreon is also where you can get live show replays and other digital goodies. But you can also go to thenewsolympian.com/merch to rep the show with some physical and digital merch as well. Speaking of the Patreon, let's give a shout out to our producer level patrons in the Olympic court level of the Patreon. So shout out to Kelsey Gillespie, Vicky Garcia, Frida, Megan Moon, Polly Burge, Nikki Harris, Tatiana Schmidt, Sam Reeby, Mrs. O'Leary, Milo Kim, Sandkoff, Rayla Matthews, Sky Mallory, Mick Walters, Grace, Bradimus Prime, Skylar Sisters, Scott Sheldon, Ann M. Thayer Cohen, Bella, Percy Jackson, Kit Kat Crumbs, Andrea, not Andrea, Terry Rothfuzz, Certified Ghost King's emotional support friend, Lee Hartley, Marco Redhouse, and Raccoon Moon 149. If you want to support the show in a non-monetary way, word of mouth is huge, goes a long way for podcast growth. So you could talk about the show with someone directly, you could post about it on social media, you could leave us a rating and review on whatever podcasting app you're using. All these things really do help. I appreciate anyone who has done it in the past or will do it in the future. But I'm just so thankful that you tuned into this episode, and I hope you tune into our next episode where we'll be joined live in Charlotte by Kelly Schubert to break down chapters 37 through 39 of The House of Hades. But until then, I'll see you later. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's me, ASMR Mike. So when I do the recordings here in the auxiliary studio, I have to move some stuff around because I basically just pop my laptop and microphone on top of a dresser that we have inside of our little walk-in closet. So what I'm going to do now is move over a hat rack back into position, and you'll hear me getting that adjusted. I move it so that my laptop screen is clear, but now I'm going to move it back, and that will be the ASMR Mike segment. Oh, I dropped a hat. Good ASMR. Good job, me. And then let me put it back. Perfect. Thank you so much for listening.